Good morning, students. Today we will learn about the different types of epithelial tissue or the different types of epithelium. In the last class we have discussed about the characteristic features of the epithelial and how its classification takes place. Just I would like to revise that things like its classification is important as because its classification based on the two different criteria. The first one is the presence of the layer of cells and the second one is the shape of the cell, and that is why here we are talking about the classification, that is the simple squamous epithelium, and after this when we will discuss about the stratified squamous epithelium, these are the classification based on the layer of cell. It is the single layer of cell, and now look here, it is made up of thin flat cells. You may have seen in the basic characteristic features that the cells may be the flat, cuboidal, columnar shape, and that will be applicable in all the different types of epithelial. So here each cell has a spherical nucleus located centrally in the cytoplasm. You may see here, this is the nucleus and this is the shape of the cell indicating here, and it is the basement membrane upon which the cell will lie, and location, the lining of blood vessels, lung alveoli, esophagus, lining of mouth, etc. Function, it acts as a protective lining and protects the underlying parts from mechanical injuries, and chemical and entry of pathogens. What are the important functions? Number one function you have seen here, it acts as a protective lining and protects the underlying parts from mechanical injuries, harmful chemicals and entry of pathogens. This is the first functions. And the second one is the transportation of substances through its selectively permeable surfaces. So this is the a short note, a brief note on the simple squamous epithelium. Now the second one is the stratified squamous epithelium, where we see more than one layer of cells, and those cells may be the different shapes also. Understand? The second important type, depending on the layer of cells, is the stratified squamous epithelium. The human skin is covered by this type of epithelium. As the protective tissue, the number of cells layer varies at different places. It comprises of cells that are arranged in layers to prevent wear and tear. Now the function protects, just the functions like that of the simple squamous, protects the underlying parts from mechanical injury, stress, infections, and second important function to facilitate the diffusion of gases and materials. Here once again you look here, it is the basement and this is the cells, squamous epithelial cells, stratified squamous epithelial cells, and this is the nucleus, and this is the nucleus. So this is a brief notes on the stratified squamous epithelium. Now the second category of the type and the second category of the classification is based on the shape of the cell, where we see and where we look about the three important types like squamous, cuboidal, columnar, and again three, I have told three as because there are some cilia with the columnar and with the cuboidal also. That means that there are 2 or 3 more types depending on the shape. So let us see what are the different types depending on the shape of the cell. Here look the types of epithelial tissue on the basis of shape of the cell and functions of cells. Like number 1, cuboidal, that means the cube like shape. Columnar, that means the column or the pillar like cells. And the third one is the ciliated. Ciliated is actually the modifications of the cuboidal, both cuboidal and columnar. When there is a cilia, present, like it is if it is cuboidal and if there is a cilia present in this, so that is the ciliated cuboidal. And if you will look the diagram in the like when we will draw a single cell diagram of the pillar like or the column like, where the nucleus is present at the base of the cell, not in the centrally located nucleus. So here if it is a columnar cell or columnar epithelium, cell of the columnar epithelium, and if it modified to form cilia, so this is the ciliated epithelium or the ciliated columnar and the ciliated cuboidal. Here when once again may you see like it is a cuboidal epithelium, and if it possesses cilia, then it is the ciliated cuboidal. The third type is the modification of cuboidal, both cuboidal and columnar. जैसा कि आप इसमें देख रहे हैं टाइप जो इसका जो यहाँ पे अभी सेकंड जो कैटेगरी टाइप को बताया जा रहा है आपको, वो है आपका शेप ऑफ द सेल. अब शेप दो ही हैं समझिए, क्यूबॉइडल और कोलुमनर. मेन जो शेप ऑफ द सेल आप देखेंगे इसके टाइप में वो दो ही देखेंगे. यू विल लुक ओनली द टू शेप्स, बट द modifications of the both two shapes of the cell may lead to ciliated and glandular also. Like when you will talk about the glandular epithelium, it is the modified, it is also the modified columnar epithelium. तो अब आप शायद समझ गए होंगे इसके जो डिफरेंट टाइप्स है वो बेस्ड होता है ये दो शेप पे. जो शेप के अनुसार इसका टाइप है डिपेंडिंग ऑन द शेप ऑफ द सेल. इफ इट हैज़, हियर आई हैव mentioned 4 types, but actually it is based on only the 2 types. And when it is modified, how it is modified? When it is cilia present. How it is modified? When there are presence of cilia. So then it may be the cuboidal ciliated or maybe the columnar ciliated. Columnar माने पिलर है ना. तो ये आपका था. अब cuboidal epithelium, a short description of that type of epithelium is here. It consists of cube-like cells. You may see here the cube-like cell and the nucleus, spherical nucleus located centrally, and lining of where it occurs, lining of kidney tubules, duct of sweat glands, ducts of salivary glands, alveoli of the lungs in the germinal epithelium of testes and ovaries. Here in the part where it occurs, the part which can do the functions, in that functions it can support. Understand? Like in the function, may you enlisted here two functions. Like number one, it is a mechanical tissue and provides supports to the organs. ये इसका एक फंक्शन है. सेकेंड, इट ऑल्सो हेल्प्स इन द एब्जॉर्प्शन. अब यहाँ देख रहे हैं ना, ये अब जिस पार्ट में है और उस जिस ऑर्गन में है और उस ऑर्गन का अगर काम एब्जॉर्प्शन है तो उसमें ये सपोर्ट करता है. अगर उस ऑर्गन का काम एक्सक्रीशन है तो उसमें ये सपोर्ट करता है. अगर उस ऑर्गन का काम सिक्रेशन है तो उसमें ये सपोर्ट करता है. जैसे कि आप यहाँ पे देख पाएंगे, लाइक व्हेन यू टॉकिंग अबाउट द sweat glands, salivary glands, तो what is the function of this gland? The secretions. तो इस तरह से ये आप किडनी ट्यूब्यूल्स में जो दिखाई दिया है, इसका जो लोकेशन देख रहे हैं हम लोग इन द किडनी ट्यूब्यूल्स, तो व्हाट इज द फंक्शन ऑफ किडनी? द फंक्शन ऑफ किडनी इज एक्सक्रीशन. तो द ऑर्गन्स वेयर इट ऑकर्स, द फंक्शंस according to that organs, and it supports to it supports to the organs for performing their specific functions. So this is the cuboidal epithelium. Now come to the second important type, that is the columnar, based on the shape of the cell. भूलेंगे नहीं आप, बार बार मैं आपको याद दिला दे रहा हूँ. पहला जो हमने टाइप जो कैटेगरी किया वो आपका जो है सिंपल स्क्वामस और स्ट्रेटिफाइड स्क्वामस, नंबर ऑफ लेयर्स ऑफ सेल. सेकंड जो हम लोगों ने कैटेगरी किया है, इस कैटेगरी को हमने किस आधार पे किया है? शेप के आधार पे किया है. होना तो चाहिए था दो ही, लेकिन इसका जो ये मॉडिफाइड फॉर्म है इसको भी मैंने इसमें टाइप में ले आया हूँ. सिलिएटेड जो यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है, सिलिएटेड, और ये जो ग्लैंडुलर है मैंने यहाँ लिख दिया, और इसको मैंने आपको बता भी दिया कि किस तरह से इसका मॉडिफिकेशन होता है. अब आइए कॉलमनर. Here is the description of columnar epithelium. It consists of pillar or column-like cells. The oval nuclei are located at the base of cells. ये centrally located नहीं है, थोड़ा नीचे हट करके located है. It is located in the inner lining of the intestine and stomach. The functions of the inner lining of the intestine and stomach based mainly on the absorption, and that is why its function is also related with that. Like number one, the layer of columnar cells facilitates the movement of substances across through it. It acts as absorptive tissue and helps in the absorption of substances in the stomach and the intestine. This is the columnar epithelium. Here the ciliated epithelium. Certain cuboidal or columnar cells bear numerous प्रोटोप्लाज्मिक थ्रेड, ढेर सारे सीलिया, बहुत सारे सीलिया या थ्रेड धागे के जैसे का स्ट्रक्चर होता है जो इसके फ्री सरफेस से निकला हुआ रहता है. यानी कि ये जो फ्री सरफेस है, ये फ्री सरफेस है, इसी से निकला हुआ. तो दिस इज द सीलिया. इसी को आप यू मे कॉल इट सिलिएटेड, फ्री एंड ऑफ द सेल. तो ये दोनों का डायग्राम हो गया. अगर इसे आप हटा दें तो दिस डायग्राम इज एप्लीकेबल फॉर द कॉलमनर, एंड इफ यू विल ऐड दिस सीलिया इन दिस फ्री सर्फेसेस ऑफ द सेल, देन दिस डायग्राम इज फॉर द सिलिएटेड एपिथेलियम. सर्टेन क्यूबॉइडल और क्यूब शेप के अगर उसके ऊपर आप सीलिया लगा देंगे, जैसे कि इससे पहले बताया भी मैंने आपको, तो दैट इज नोन एज द क्यूबॉइडल और कॉलमनर cells. Bear large number of protoplasmic threads or cilia on their free surface. It is located at the fallopian tubes, respiratory tracts like bronchi, bronchioles, etc. And now the important functions we will see, but before that you again may here write basement membrane, this one is the oval nucleus. This is the pillar like cells, pillar or columnar like cells, and this is the cilia. This is the cilia. So may you see here this diagram is for both ciliated and for the simple columnar. Understand? Now one more tissue, epithelial, that is the glandular, that is also the modified. Here two important functions in regard to the ciliated epithelium, and here the description of glandular epithelium. As earlier I have already told you that glandular, it is a modified columnar epithelium. That means the shape of the cell and the location of the nucleus, each and everything will be the similar like that of the columnar. There is a modification, and the modification, cells are modified to secrete. Why it modified? To secrete certain substances. It lines stomach, intestines and other secretory organs. The secretory organs, here there is a descriptions of that, like unicellular. In this unicellular membrane, unicellular like goblet of cells in the mucous membrane, it is present in this type of unicellular modified glandular cell present in the goblet cells in the mucous membrane of alimentary canal. But here in the case of the multicellular, a large number of glands develop with this modification, that is the sweat glands, sebaceous gland, that is the present in the skin. Similarly here there is one more type of gland, that is the salivary glands. It is exocrine, that means it has duct. In the introductory class it is already discussed. And the mammary glands which secretes milk, and also the certain and endocrine glands, which secretes hormones. The exocrine, it is the example of exocrine like salivary, and it is the example here, it is the example of salivary gland is the example of exocrine, and the endocrine's example is here not mentioned. Like may you give the example like the pancreas, it acts both as endocrine and exocrine. That's why I have given this example. It is also act as a exocrine and endocrine both. So here the multicellular glands like sweat glands, sebaceous glands, which are present in the skin. There are presence of salivary glands, mammary glands and the endocrine glands. What are the functions? Glandular epithelium secretes sweat, oil, milk. According to the nature of the glands, it secretes the different chemical substances. Like from the exocrine, mainly there is a release of, there is a secretion of enzymes, and from the endocrine glands there is a secretion of hormones. In the exocrine there is a, I may write here, exocrine with ducts. Example you have seen here, like salivary glands, intestinal glands, and other examples like the gastric glands. So these are the example. And endocrine, whereas the endocrine it mainly secretes enzymes. It is related with the secretion of hormones. So these are the some facts. The example are here. Endocrine example, pancreas. There are so many other examples also, like the pituitary gland, like the thyroid, etc., etc. So here are the some descriptions about the types of epithelial tissue. To make a note depending upon all these facts, and after this we are now in the second important type of tissue of animal, that is the connective tissue. It is also known as binding tissue, as because this tissue connects and binds the different tissues and the organs of the body. Here some introductory points for this tissue, like connective tissue binds or connects various tissues and organs in the body and provide them rigidity, support and protection. A lot of functions: rigidity, support and protection. It also called packing tissue. It is the most abundant tissue in animal body and comprises total body 30%, approx 30% of the total body part. In case of the epithelium or epithelial tissue also, we have first noticed about the basic features or characteristics features of the tissue, and depending upon that features, depending upon that characters, we have seen the various type of tissues of present. Like when you were talking epithelial tissue and its type, what we have seen in case of the basic features of epithelial tissue, that will be present in all the different types of epithelial tissue. Understand? So that is the basic features, that is the basic characteristic features. Here also there are some characteristics of connective tissue, like number one, it has a considerable amount of intercellular space and called matrix. It is here one more important features for you, that is the presence of matrix in the connective tissue. The matrix as connective tissue is of various types. They may be fluid type also, they may be solid, they may be non-rigid, they may be flexible type, and that is why their matrix are also different. Like they may be jelly-like, they may be fluid, they may be dense, hard or rigid. You may see all this category when we will study about the types of connective tissue. There are only a few cells loosely packed in the matrix. That means this matrix is the part of the connective tissue where the cells of the connective tissues are scattered, embedded, or maybe packed. This is the fact. And the third important characteristic features here, there are presence of fibers, and that fibers are of three types. Number one, collagen fibers. This is the white color fiber and possessing the collagen protein. This is the white color fibers and possess and containing the collagen protein. Second type, elastic fibers. The color is the yellow, and the name of the protein which are present in this fiber is the elastin protein. And the third one is reticular fibers. It is the brownish fibers containing reticulin protein. That means there are three different types of fibers, and in all three different types of fibers there are three different types of protein you have seen here. So this is the basic structure of a connective tissue. More or less you see this type of structure in the different type of connective tissue. Now after the characteristic features, the one more important thing here is that the connective tissue composed, number one, with matrix. In a connective tissue, just we like to summarize here, a connective tissue having the following parts. What are that parts? Number one, like we have seen, matrix. In each and every type of connective tissue there are presence of matrix, in which the cells of the connective tissue embedded, scattered, and maybe packed. And number two, important thing, number two, cells of connective tissue. This is the second. And the third, just we have seen here, what is this? Fibers. Presence of fibers. So these are the some facts about the structure or the characteristic features of the connective tissue. Depending upon this, you may more or less see the different types of connective tissue. Here now we would like to once again, in the earlier class we have classified it, but may it has been missed. Once again I would like to revise and revive that things for you, like when you classify it, may you classify it in this manner: connective tissue, here, and may here, connective tissue, the first connective tissue proper, connective tissue proper. Here in this category we will study a very brief idea: areolar, number 2 adipose, number 3 tendon, and number 4 ligaments. ligaments. So here under this there are 4 different types of connective tissue. And what is the second? Skeletal connective tissue. Under this we shall study cartilage, and number 2 bone, and number 3 the fluid, or maybe you call liquid connective tissue. Under this we will study blood, and second one is the lymph. So these are the facts about the classification or the different types of connective tissue. Depending upon the basic features, we may see in all cases there are presence of what? There are presence of matrix, there are presence of cells of the connective tissue, and there are presence of fibers which are related with the connective tissue. There are varieties 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That means 8 types of connective tissue. May you write those 8 types in a sequence also, or may you write in this way, which I have categorized here. And now there are some introduction, a brief introduction to all this. The first, see here there is a presence of areolar. This tissue, as we have seen here, that it acts as a packing tissue. That means it binds the different organs, it binds the different organs, it binds the different tissues, it packs the different organs, it packs the different tissues. That means it may be present between the different organs and pack the tissue, like here it is areolar presence between the skin and the different tissues, and like around the blood vessels, like around the nerve, etc. Adipose just beneath the storage organ, the storage places in our body is the skin, and that is the adipose, that is related with the adipose. There are also some connectivity between the 2 bones. That functions will performed by the presence of the ligaments, and if the bone and muscles will be connected together, that is the tendon. So there are some here in this category we have seen the supporting tissues that will support, that will bind, that will pact the different organs and part of the body, like areolar, like adipose. It is the tissue which present beneath the skin and stores the fat. Here the skeletal, that is framework, बॉडी के हमारे शरीर के जो पूरा ढांचा है, जो फ्रेमवर्क है, इसको बनाने वाले जो 2 कनेक्टिव टिश्यू होते हैं, इसलिए इसे स्केलेटल कनेक्टिव टिश्यू कहा जाता है, और ये कार्टिलेज है और ये बोन है. ये 2 टाइप है इसका. यहाँ in this all this type of tissue there are some special emphasis I would like to give about the matrix. Like here in case of the bone, you may see the matrix is hard, like it is made up by the phosphorus and calcium, and here it is also there is a made up of the certain hard substances like the glucose, like the protein, etc. So that type of matrix may you see, and the matrix may be fluid, like here in case of the plasma where there is a matrix. In case of the blood, in case of the lymph, the matrix is plasma, and in this type of matrix you may see that the plasma itself comprises 90% water and only 10% the dissolved materials, both organic and inorganic. So here there are three different categories of the tissue, that is the connective tissue. The first one, connective tissue proper, the second one, connective tissue skeletal, and the third one, connective tissue, fluid connective tissue or liquid connective tissue. Under this there are 4, under this there are 2, under this there are 2 connective tissue. So these are all included, and it is the content of our syllabus. One by one we shall discuss about each and every tissue. A brief idea about the different types of connective tissue proper. Here the first one, areolar. It is the most common and fundamental connective tissue. The matrix contains all 3 kinds of fibers. That means collagen and the elastic and reticular. All the 3 types of fibers present within the matrix. The cells are also here of different types, like 3 different matrix contains 3 kinds, all the 3 different types of matrix, like the collagen, like the elastic and reticular, and the cells are also of the 3 different types, macrophages, fibroblasts and mast cells. So here it is the areolar, and it is found between the skin and muscles, around the blood vessels, within the bone marrow and the nerves. Around the nerves. Function: it fills the space inside the organ, support internal organs, helps in repairing of tissues. Now the second one is the adipose. It is the fat storing tissue, connective tissue, which present throughout the body, as because it is present below the skin, that's why it is present all along the body. It is composed of fat cells. What is the name of that fat cells? Adipocytes. These are the some important points that must be noted, and you should careful about all this point. Intercellular matrix containing the 2 different types of fibers, collagen and elastic fiber. There is no absence of the reticular. The function is storage of fats and also act as a insulator. So this is the first areolar and the second adipose, and the 2 more in this category. What are those 2 more? Tendon and ligament. Let us see what are the structure of those 2. The third type of proper connective tissue is here the tendon. The tissue which connects muscles to bones are the tendon. It is dense, fibrous, it occurs in the form of sheets, and that is known as the tendon. Matrix contain white collagen fibers. Here the function: supports joints, help in the skeletal movement and provide strength. So this is the tendon. Now the fourth proper connective tissue, that is the connective tissue proper. The fourth type, ligaments. It is a connective tissue which connects 2 bones to each other. It has fewer cells, less matrix and elastic fibers. Functions: it joins bones because of elasticity. Ligaments allow bending and rotational movements of bone over a joint. So this is the descriptions, a brief idea I have given you about the 4 different types of connective tissue proper. And in the next part we will learn about the skeletal connective tissue and the fluid connective tissue. That means what we will learn in the next class, we will learn in the next class about the bone, about the cartilage, about the blood and about the lymph.